I just dropped off the Fuji X-H2S camera, and in the video that I made about the camera, there was one comment that said that it was more about specs and it should have been more about, how would I explain? Well, here is the comment, and yeah, I was starting to think about how much actually a new camera will improve your photography, and I claim that it won't. I will give you 7 tips, or 7 tips, 7 things that tells you that a new camera won't make you a better photographer. Coming up. Hi, it's Peter here, and let's get right into the business.
Well, I came indoors and doing this in my balcony here. It was, raining right now, but now, well, when I got here, it was sunny again. The first one is skill and techniques. The skill of a photographer is the key thing that defines if she or he can make a good image. It's not the camera. It doesn't matter what the camera is. If there's a skill and technique. So learn the basics of things. If you are planning on getting a new camera, what I would suggest is to first learn a few new skills before getting a new camera. I think that's one big thing. So it's not the camera and the camera features that will give you better images. Yes, the features will make it easier in some cases. If you have a faster AF, it's easier to catch fast action. If you have live comp, it's easier to make light trails and all that. But you still have to understand the techniques, and what's important, you need to pre-visualize your image. If you don't have those skills or techniques or the knowledge of how it's done, new camera won't do you anything except you will lose money. The second thing is knowledge of photography principles. Understanding the principles, the shutter speed, the aperture, the ISO, and all that, and what are those, or what do they mean together? What happens if you raise ISO? What happens to aperture and shutter speed? I know many of you know that, but still, do you know it inside out for every situation? Because I get a lot of questions that I'm going to photograph this and that, what settings? And that's really a wrong question. Know the basics. You wouldn't have to answer that or ask that question at all, because you would know that it depends on the light, the situation, and what you want. Because I always ask us, okay, what do you want? Do you want motion blur? Do you want tacked sharp? Or do you want the mood? Or what do you want? It's because all that affects the settings. So you won't get better images with a new camera if you don't understand the basic principles of photography. And creativity and vision. I already talked about this in the first thing that I mentioned in this video. But it is the most important thing. The vision that you have. You have images in your mind. You have a style. You have a genre that you like to do the most. Learn the basics of that particular genre. Look at YouTube videos. Go out and shoot. Read books. Look at photographs. And that will boost up your creativity and vision. And creativity is something that you really need to practice. And there are some videos in my channel over there that you can watch to get inspired and do some practice. And of course, the 52 assignment is something that you might want to take a look at if you haven't already, because that gives you some assignments and some themes that you need to start photographing. And then when you're posting them and maybe getting them to my live streams, you will need to push yourself and try something new. That will open up your creativity and you will have something to photograph. And then the fourth one is about the gear. You need to understand the limitations of your gear. And that's also can be interpreted so that you might need a new camera. Yeah, I think this is a bit contradictory, because understanding the limits of your camera, but also understanding the possibilities of your camera. Some of the stuff that you think you need a new camera for is already possible with your camera if you try the 3 first things. So concentrate on the skill and concentrate on the creativity and vision, and then know the limits of your camera. If your camera cannot photo, or is, well, it can, but if it's not fast enough, then try to figure out how you could photograph fast action. Learn manual focus, for example, and you're probably good to go. all that is a lot more important than just, I can't photograph this and I didn't do camera. And that's not the case in most cases. Could be sometimes, but in most cases, that's not the solution. And then one thing that is really important is post-production skills. Image editing and manipulation is a big part of digital photography. Do we like it or not, every image needs to be edited in some way. You need to add some contrast, you need to maybe boost up the colors. And if you do that, then you will get better results. Of course, you can't have a crappy image and then in the edit you will fix it to be nice. It's not, you can't get a nice chocolate cake from shit. So that's not the case. And then, of course, if you want some better technical qualities, image editing software like Topaz Photo AI is a marvelous software. And I have several videos about that, and I will put a link into the description if you want to get it. It's a marvelous software, and it will make your images look better. Of course, the content, the story, and that, it won't fix that, but it will make it look better so that more people might want to watch it or look at it. And then one big thing is storytelling. You can tell stories with any camera. It's all about thinking about the image. What do I want to tell? What is my genre? What I want to tell? Do I find something new? Ideas for this genre? Can I do it a little bit differently? What do I want to tell? And then if your image resonates with the viewer, it doesn't matter what the technical quality is. If someone feels something when they see the image, it's a lot more important, and that has nothing to do with the camera. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I need to... My notes went black. And there is a video about that storytelling that I did with Matti Sulanto. You might want to watch that because there are lots of good ideas and a lot of good things from Matti. He said many wise things on that video. Yeah, I agree on that. It's hard for me to admit that Matti did something good. Just kidding. We do this all the time. Yeah, storytelling and raising some emotions is the key. And then expanding your knowledge and learning. We talked about this the whole video, but the whole thing comes down to learning new skills and expanding your knowledge. And the way to expand your knowledge is to watch videos on YouTube, look at books, look at photographs, and go out and shoot and get feedback for your images, because it's really hard to judge the images yourself. Of course, you will learn to know what are your best images when you get better at photography, and you also understand that some of the images that you make are really crap. And that's at the time when you really progress, when you start seeing the images that are crap, and then you should think about and learn what to do better. And that's the whole thing, and that's something that will lead better images in the long run. And then to conclude, remember that cameras can give you some features that will make your images look better, but it won't boost your creativity, it won't boost your storytelling, and it won't, invent some emotions or some stuff inside the image that's not there, or what's not there, what can be done with any camera. I'm not saying that you should not buy new gear. I do it every now and then, but then we have to talk about the difference between professional photographer and amateur photographer. Like I always said, if I was an amateur photographer, I would probably have one camera, one lens, and that's it. But as a professional, I need more gear because the demand from the client, I can't just show up with one lens and one camera because it might not fit the thing that the client wants me to do. But when you're an amateur and hobbyist, you set the limits. You don't need to photograph anything else than your camera can do, and take the most of existing gear that you already have. And I hope this video helped you with gas. And here are some of the videos that I mentioned in this. There might be some useful things about creativity. But hey, thanks for watching, and bye for now.